Here's Johnny.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho.
And when you're down here with me, you float down.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What up, horror fans? Welcome to a new episode. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to a new episode. You're listening to Friday, the 14th podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Swan, and I am joined by.
I
What is
am
it?
the what?
Go for
Oh,
it.
I am the 4K bad guy, aka Nick H. The H is silence.
How silent is the H?
No, I mean it's so sad that you don't even pronounce it my name.
Say his name 3 times. Man, it feels like it's been forever since we talked, but last week we had a very fun episode. Man, I highly recommend you guys go check it out, listen to it. We had a really good, fun conversation about Trap, the latest in the M. Night Shyamalan
Shalama Ding Dong verse
library.
the library.
Uh, and I can't wait to dig into what we're talking about today, because today we're talking about Knock at the Cabin. And last week we talked about how the ending and the twist was just kind of not there. But I'm not going to say anything anymore about last week. If you guys want to go check it out, go click on the link and listen to it. You can check out the links in the social media pages. Social media pages are listed below if you're watching. If you're listening, it's at Instagram / Friday the 14th podcast, or all social media. Just search Friday the 14th podcast. You can also search at Imasawa Productions on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. If you're listening to the podcast, just search the Cinnamon Movie Podcast audio version, and you can listen every single week wherever you listen to podcasts. Pretty easy, pretty fun. But Nick, how was your weekend? And do you have anything that you want to talk about that you might have checked out, wrestling wise, TV show wise, movie wise?
So weekend wise, I think it was one of my available off weekends that I wasn't doing wrestling taco stuff. So Saturday morning I went to go see Alien Romulus in IMAX.
Oh yeah.
I went alone, unfortunately.
Oh, keep talking dirty to me.
Yeah, it was like an empty void on the right side of me. But on the left side of me there was two guys.
How was your theater, man? Was it close to being packed? I went and saw Alien Romulus 2 on a Sunday afternoon, and honestly, I'm surprised that mine was not sold out.
Same here. It wasn't, I mean, I would say because maybe it was kind of early in the morning. But I went to go see Trap. That was more of a packed theater. No, I just can't remember if I saw that on Sunday. I think I did see it on Sunday. But you'd think a Saturday be busier than a Sunday.
Yeah. Uh, what were some of your thoughts, man? Not too much, just in case it decides to be an episode. I know it's going to be an episode over on my side of things, uh, but like, what'd you think so far? Did you love
Considering I'm
it?
not considering I'm not a big sci-fi horror type of a guy, I enjoyed it. It was done by what's his name, Fede Alvarez, the
Yes,
same
sir.
person who threw out the Evil Dead remake and
Don't
uh
breathe.
Don't Breathe 1 and 2,
Uh,
right?
yep.
Yeah. So I did enjoy this whole style. I think even like based off the trailers, like oh, this is probably gonna go into like more horror vibes. Kind of remind me of a video game type vibes.
Yeah, he didn't disappoint, man. First initial thoughts for me was I didn't think it was going to be that creepy, that dark. It was pretty terrifying watching it in an IMAX with that kind of surround sound with you. He was really, really close and stuck with the some of the graphic novels and the comic books, and it really just felt like the original Alien mixed in with some of the action of Aliens, and man, it was phenomenal. It made $118 million opening weekend. So, uh, do you have anything else you want to recommend?
Uh, we're just going on the topic of Alien. Yeah, it was overall fun experience there. Although when I was watching the movie, it's not really giving spoilers or anything, but the actress in that, I thought she kind of looked like she could have been the character for The Last of Us. What was the character?
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
ooh,
I threw some flowers out to her last weekend. Kaylee Spaney, man, we talked about her a few episodes on my podcast. She was in Priscilla. She was in Civil War this year, and then this year she was in
this one?
no,
No,
wrong
no, no,
wrong Civil War.
close
But
enough.
she was in Alien. So man, yeah, she's doing phenomenal work, and I think she's one of my favorite actresses so far this year. She's killing it, man. Everything she does.
Um, Besides that, Risha, of course, we watching Knock at the Cabin on 4K.
Fat Joe's sister. Who's that? I don't
Huh?
even know who Fat Joe is.
I don't know. But yeah, Knock at the Cabin. I think I watched a little bit of The Grudge too.
The Grudge. The Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, the remake.
Man, if I had to recommend anything, I checked out Dream Scenario this week, Alien Romulus, the Mad Max trilogy with Mel Gibson, and then Knock at the Cabin today for today's episode. If I had to recommend anything, go see Alien Romulus in theaters, um, and then Knock at the Cabin is on the Peacock, and Dream Scenario is on HBO Max. So go check it out.
Nice.
Yes, yes. Uh, let's dig into what are we talking about today, Nick? Today was actually Franco's pick, right?
I believe so, because
Yeah.
last week's was technically your pick. I think you wanted to review a George Clooney film, but I got scrapped for Josh Hartnett.
That's not Batman and Robin.
Could have been.
Could have been.
But yeah,
Uh,
I think it was more of a biased choice because Franco is a Dave Bautista fan.
well, let's talk about it. Today we're talking about Knock at the Cabin. Currently, IMDb has it at 6.1, Rotten Tomatoes at 67%. The Metascore is 63, and the Letterboxd has it at a 2.9. With a budget of $20 million, this movie only grossed $55 million in the box office. Um, while vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family make a choice to avert the apocalypse. Starring Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, Nikki Bird, Rupert Grint, Abby Quinn, Kristen Q, and written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, based off of the book The Cabin at the End of the World. Uh, I'm going to put an asterisk right there by the $55 million of the box office, just because I think this is one of those movies that released on day one on Peacock and at the box office, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Nick, do you remember the first time you seen this? What was it like right after you first seen it, if you remember? And then what was it like revisiting it for the podcast?
Yeah, this was like 9 years old. Nah, no, this was back in what 2023. Jeez, like 2022 and 2023 kind of blend together for me. So like, yes, it was just last year. I think I went to see this with my brother. This was what, January, right? Or
Yeah, it came out
it's like
February
February.
3rd, 2023.
Yeah, so every time a new horror movie comes out, I for most part go see it opening weekend. Um, but since it was like a weekday, I think it was even less filled theater. Not really a whole bunch of seats taken there.
Yeah, I did not get to go check this out in the theater. I did watch it opening weekend on Peacock. Um, I liked it a lot.
I like it a lot.
Rewatching it for the podcast. Um, I've seen it a few times before too. So we also reviewed this last year on my podcast too, and man, I enjoy it. Every time I watch it, I find something different that I enjoy more about it. I don't get the online hate for it, man.
Because certain things don't happen the way what they wanted. I don't know. Not enough. Not enough this, not enough that. But the acting is really good as well. Especially done by Dave. What was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought there.
I'll
Maybe we'll come
I'll
back.
I'll I'll write off those coattails though. The opening scene with him and Win is phenomenal when he sits down there and introduces himself, and they try not to. She's like, I don't talk to strangers. Stranger danger, and he's like. He's like, yo, I'm Batista, former world heavyweight champion. Now we're not strangers anymore.
But
No, he,
he left as Bautista.
yeah, no,
Hill.
he. I love the interaction between the two because you think somebody who looks kind of the way he does, if you're profiling him in the woods, you're like, man, he's just so soft spoken. Um, so I like that first interaction because it's kind of eerie, kind of creepy, but then you're like, man, I can trust that dude. The other people walking up behind him, I don't know if I trust them though.
Hmm. Yeah, tries to be able to run a Weasley.
Do
Um,
do you think this movie got mixed reviews because there is no huge M Night twist, or do you think it kind of got? And we'll go down this road. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but or do you think it got this kind of twist because of so much of the biblical aspects in the movie featuring the two dads?
hmm, that is a great question. I mean, it's pretty straightforward movie there.
Yeah, I think it's very straightforward. I like that about this one.
Doesn't really mess with your way of thinking, at least not to me. But this was like my second time viewing this movie actually. Um, I remember buying it on 4K when it originally came out. Um, but going to the scene where you're introduced to the Leonard character, I thought that was shot awesome. Just the far away him slowly walking towards Wen. Uh,
Yeah, Leonard starting off with the conversation with Wynn, catching grasshoppers, and then he introduces the four members or the other three. So you got Leonard, Sabrina, Redmond, and Adrian. Um, creepy when they introduce like the other ones, and they're kind of like just when they finally do get into the house. Um, I will say the trailer doesn't open this up. Like when you first watch the trailer, I was expecting something completely different. I wasn't expecting an apocalypse type of biblical movie.
the choice is yours. You're Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone got the same uh thought of it's gonna be more like Along Strangers,
Yeah.
because the strangers have them and that movie tied up and whatnot. It's like, well, it might play out the same way, but I was like, I'm not cannot just make a simple movie like that. It's already been done. And he likes to put more original ideas out there.
Uh, what did you think of like the cast and the people who played like the four horsemen? Did you care for the cast? I thought the cast was good. I liked the two guys who played the dads. Um, and I like the actors who played the Four Horsemen. Um, some might say you didn't get enough time with them, but I think everything was just well so written, and you didn't need that much time with them.
Yeah, I liked everyone's performance in the movie. But if I were to just throw a character I wasn't really too big on, I mean, not that she didn't do a great job. It's the not Adrian, but was Sabrina, the
Sabrina,
nurse.
the nurse, yeah, she really felt like you know the how she called herself. She's like, you probably think I'm a religious freak. She kind of did come off that way, but like even then, like she wasn't technically there as a religious freak. Um, did you enjoy that the story was so just simple and you didn't have to just completely try to solve it? I mean, even watching it 3 or 4 times later, I'm like, man, I'm not trying to solve it, but I know the more and more I watch it, I get on the Four Horsemen side. I don't know if that sounds creepy or not.
I mean, siding with the Four Horsemen.
Yeah,
Man, they're simply for a mission, and then when you find out, I don't know if it's already spoiler territory, but they're telling the truth about everything. I was like, oh yeah.
yeah. This speaking of, this movie is almost 2 years old. Go check it out on the Peacock. Uh, because it's a fun watch. You're in and you're out, and it's really good. But kind of explain, man. Spoil, if you will.
Mm. How far in spoilers we talking? Just like,
Their mission and how one dad kind of thinks that they're one one dad who is Andrew thinks that they are a hate group, or they don't agree with the way they want to live, and he thinks that they're there just to torture.
just to,
And
yeah,
yeah,
target them.
yeah,
It's like it's that they just hate our types or whatever.
yeah.
Um, but no, they're just simply there to prevent shit from going down, really. And I like how their whole way of doing it. They're not really trying to go by full on force. Like if they wanted to kill him, they would have killed him straight from the get go. But it's just more of a have them tied down, reason with them if they could. Um,
So technically, the whole point of Knock at the Cabin um, is self-sacrifice, with one of the dads choosing to save the world from an alleged apocalypse. Um, the movie also explores the theme of love conquering all, highlighting maybe the power of Andrew's strong, unraveling love for each other and Win, um, which Leonard says it perfectly. I think it's one of the scenes where one of the dads, Andrew, yeah, where Andrew goes and gets the gun and he comes in and he's like, Leonard's like, I think we're chosen this cabin, and maybe you guys were just miraculously chosen for this mission because of your love being so pure and the love you have for Wayne being so pure. So when you look at it that way, like, man, the decision was probably made a long time ago that one of the dads knew they were going to have to sacrifice to end up saving the daughter and all of humanity. Some deep stuff, man.
you're chosen. Because they all said they had visions that led them there.
Yeah.
Just crazy. I like how they were all dressed in their color. Uh, that represents the Four Horsemen. It's a little detail thrown in there.
So did you feel like this again kind of goes with Trap? They're not the same movie, no sequel, so don't let me put that in your mind for anybody who's out there watching or listening. But when I say I kind of compare this to Trap, that there is no true, well, there is kind of horror aspects to it, but this is more of a thriller with no twist, kind of like how Trap was. Because to me, like, I feel like this is more of a thriller suspense movie with horror elements mixed into it. You know, uh, the killing, of course, has, horror vibes to it, but the more terrifying thing is the truth that they have to face in order to save the world from the apocalypse, I guess.
Yeah. I can't. Almost like the last movie M Night did that was like more into
Old,
horror. Actually, it was old.
probably old. But man, if you look at his filmography, he's not really a straight horror dude. It's he's more of the thriller suspense kind of with horror vibes to it, I guess.
Mm.
So, um, still, man, some creepy stuff if you sit there and think about it. Um, what did you think of Redman? Played by Rupert Grint, who is famously known for Ron Weasley in the Harry Potter movies. Um, he was really good for that role, I thought, especially in the flashback scene where he actually came across the two dads at a bar and knocked one of them out with a beer bottle.
Uh, yeah. I really like his. Not saying like, oh, I love Angry Man or his character and everything, but um, yeah, I can't remember what the last thing I saw him in before that. I think it might have been like a show. I think I watched maybe an episode or something like that. But I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good at acting. Um, I think when I first saw the movie, I was kind of upset that they only used him for like a little certain amount of time there. But they do show some flashback scenes with him in it. So yeah, for what he was given, I think he did pretty good on that.
He's really the only one that had a pretty big backstory, I guess, or that had a decent flashback. The nurse, Adrian, or the nurse Sabrina, and then what did Adrian do again? She's the youngest one of the four.
Mm,
I can't remember.
I know she was like a mother too, I think. But as far as her, oh, I think she was like in a restaurant or she worked in a Mexican restaurant or something like that.
What'd you think of Leonard being like the leader slash the motivator? He was kind of like an assistant coach, right?
Yeah, I think that's what his role was.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a teacher, or I don't know specifically
I
what grade.
And I think this was the start. I was watching an interview with Dave Bautista, and he's like, "Man, Knight just came up to me and respected me and asked me to be this character, and he didn't think of me as some big, burly, muscle buff head, and he
Rex.
respected me. Yeah, he respected me for my work and my art, and he was like, he's forever like devoted to M Night if he ever asked him to do anything else, and I just think that's cool, man. I think Dave is like really on the cusp of finally just grabbing Hollywood and seriousness by the horns and just start doing like some badass films soon. I know I recently saw him how he lost like a lot of weight and he's not working out anymore, so he can just start getting a lot of those serious roles again.
Yeah, and yeah, he was getting typecasted or whatnot. But like his earlier stuff was just him being the big dude, whatever. And then he was slowly transitioning to the comedy side of things. It's kind of like with the Rock and John Cena, similar typecasting. But trying to see what other movies he did that was more on the serious side of things.
He was in Blade Runner 2049 for a little bit. He was in
Then
there
he
for
did well, his recent stuff was like Dune.
Dune Part 1 and 2. Yep. So, I like how he has lost the weight and he has like toned down a lot of the muscle. So I'm happy to see what he starts doing next. And I would be okay if he does like some more stuff like this because I thought he was phenomenal. Um, who or what do you think Eric saw in the movie? After the knock, you kind of see like a shimmer of light, like a flash or just a really quick highlight. Um, is it the higher power that Eric sees in the mirror during the first knock? Um, and do you think it's the same light that Leonard, Sabrina, Adrian, and Redmond saw as their vision? Because, after technically Eric got knocked in the head, he starts feeling different for what's going on in front of him.
Sounds tricky thing the answer there.
Yeah.
Man, but even then, I mean, you can still tie it in with the horseman. Uh, I'm not too familiar with the whole story of the Four Horsemen. I know of them, but just not full on knowledge. Like when I first saw the movie, I didn't see the figure that was shown.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, um, whether M. Night was going to change the ending to the book or not. Um,
What
thanks, thanks, thankfully, um, at least if I'll explain if you want me to. In the book, which ends more differently, Wynn is accidentally killed when Andrew and Leonard are fighting over a gun. However, Wynn's death doesn't count since it was not a sacrifice. But Eric and Andrew decide not to die and to face whatever is coming together. And so the world presumably isn't spared of the apocalypse.
so he went the
He went the
everyone, everyone lives route. Now,
technically technically, yeah, one of them sacrificed and then they saved the world.
but she wasn't. Yeah, she wasn't sacrificed. So that's kind of weird. Or
In all reality, that sounds more like an M Night twist than the actual movie. It almost,
twist.
if you guys haven't seen The Mist, do yourselves a fucking favor and go see The Mist. But that sounds like more of a Mist story, doesn't it?
And now was Wynn's death? It wasn't accidental, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, because they
yeah,
were going with the gun.
yeah. In the book, it was accidental, so it doesn't count, and the world came to an end.
Selfishly, whenever they're doing the decisions, like, oh, yeah, they can they kill off Wynn, but that's pretty fucked up. But so they can consider their whole love story, but even then, those still be all. Uh, I think just further on thinking like, oh well, I guess he can't really kill her off, but if it was my choice to kill off one of the people, it probably would have been that. What's his face, Andrew. He was like the one with the biggest temper.
Yeah, yeah, he did, and the flashbacks go back, and he actually says something about the temper. Um, but him being tempered and hot headed like that, kind of, I'm not wanting to say saves him because if he didn't get hit in the head with the bottle, he wouldn't have got the gun. He started taking like karate classes and stuff. So if that doesn't happen, maybe they don't even have the gun at the cabin. If that makes any sense.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
uh, just the whole thing with the Redmond. It's like the big coincidence, like, oh, it happened to be the same guy tied into the Andrew.
Yeah.
So I was like thinking like, when he decided to change his actual name to Redmond, or that was just like an actual nickname because he has like a of his features is red hair and beard. I think it
So
was like another name.
So to answer your question earlier, the four horsemen of the apocalypse are biblical figures that appear in the book of Revelation. In the New Testament, they are revealed when the first four of the seven seals are unsealed, and each horseman represents a different aspect of the apocalypse. The horsemen are conquest, war, uh, famine, and death. So he went really, really biblical with this movie, and the horsemen symbolize the coming of the four uh, cataclysmic events that will signify the rise of the Antichrist, the final conflict between heaven and hell. So he went deep into the biblical aspect of things, and some say kind of that's why this movie maybe didn't do so good. I'm not looking that deep into it. I really do think it didn't do good box office wise because of it being released on the Peacock. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of
Yeah.
his movies, man. I mean, I don't know when we'll talk M Night again, because your pick is
Right next week, actually. No, but yeah.
your pick is right to the left. Um,
It's where it needs to be.
yeah. So I don't know if I'll go back to that trend of talking M Night movies or if I'll pick something different. But this is definitely left field for him. Even though a lot of his movies are talking about, man, the happening. Spoiler alert, but the plants and you know, uh, the Earth is kind of doing this to the people of the planet. Uh, Signs had the aliens. I mean, technically, were they aliens? They were demons. There's that twist in the movie. Like supposedly they're aliens, but if you really really look at it, they're demons. Um, and then you know, um, you see dead people. What's that movie called again?
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense.
It's Sixth Sense.
The
Yeah.
movie that put him on the map. So how do you feel about M Night, man? Are you like anything he produces and puts out? Will you go check out at least once in the theater?
Uh, theater or straight to streaming or yeah.
Because I think the last few times we've talked, when one of his movies comes out, you try to go see it in the theater, whether it be old, this or Trap.
Trap.
I didn't talk to you. I haven't talked to you, before old. I think these are the only three movies that I've known you for, and I think you've seen all three of them in the theater.
Um, actually, old. I didn't get to check out in the theater. I had watched it on 4K. Yeah, I
Oh,
picked that one up, but I think I was like, I can't remember how far off release it was.
pretty far. No, I'm just messing with you.
Pretty far. It was
Um,
so far gone. Yeah, M Night. I enjoy M Night's stuff. A lot of times I'm not really going full on highest expectations, so I just keep it at a low.
what did you think of like some of the like these catastrophic events that was happening, like the earthquakes, the tsunami, um, and then next was like
The planes, I
the
believe that was.
planes. Yeah, what'd you think of those events? You thought they were, to me, like some people were also had issues with the CGI online. I thought the tsunamis and the earthquakes, I thought they looked phenomenal.
I mean, It worked. So we're expecting a full on, I don't know, 3D, four, some experience. Um, yeah, I thought that was probably the cooler moments of the movie. It's like every time you say no, some new plague happens and stuff, or even another part of the plague was people getting sick from
Yeah,
like a flu.
like a flu. And then the final one was just the complete hell on earth. Everything going batshit crazy.
The lightning is striking the trees.
What'd you think of? I'm not gonna necessarily say did you have a favorite death, but was there one that kind of looked cool, or did you have a favorite death? Whether it was them taking their own lives or the accidental or not accidental, but the death of the dad, which you don't see.
So that gets cut off on the side. Trying to remember Adrian's death, because I know it was her face. Sabrina gets killed with a gunshot,
Yeah.
and of course Leonard offs himself when he's say on the chair.
Oh yeah, he slits his throat, which was pretty dark.
You see the blood just dripping through the his shirt. You see the stain. If I had to go by death, yeah, that probably had to be Rupert Grint's. Uh, just the fact that he really didn't want to die, and him putting that white cloth sack, whatever he had on him, and then they just take him from behind.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go with you too. Oh no, you said Rupert Grint. I'd go with Batista. Leonard's slit to his throat, but it's not just the look of the event. It's his entire dialogue before he does it. Um, how he's like, "I know you guys will make the right decision." Um, the thing about teaching kids is they believe everything you say, so you got to watch what you tell them or teach them. And I hope that one of the kids that I teach goes on to change the world someday. Deep, deep dialogue for a dude who's getting
Mm.
ready to do that, and he doesn't know the fate of what those two guys are going to do. So I've never known M. Night to be just a dialogue heavy written director, but in this movie, the dialogue is just it's. I'm going to steal a line from the movie. Like I think it's pure, and of course he's got the book to help him, but knowing M. Night, he didn't just take it all from the book. He's got to put his stamp on there somehow. So,
Speaking of putting a stamp on the film, his cameo, selling some fried chicken fryers, whatever.
which made me hungry. I wanted some fried chicken.
Tasty.
Yeah. Uh, I like his little cameos too. What do you think of his cameos? I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty much like the Stanley in his films. Um,
I think did one of us say it last week? I feel like he's paying more homage to like the Alfred Hitchcocks. How Alfred Hitchcock always had a cameo in one of his movies. Like M Night loves old school Hollywood, and you can definitely tell in every movie he does, he just has some Hitchcock in him.
cock. How many times you can say cock in this whole stream? Talking about peacock and you're talking about Hitchcock. Um, nah, but I think his best cameo is probably still Signs because he had more of a
Impact.
impact and more scenes to work off of. It's cool to put. I mean, if I were making movies, I'd throw myself in there in the background somewhere. Maybe like a far away standing, like what are you doing? Like a Slender Man, Michael Myers.
Somebody you wouldn't have to pay. So, but no, man. Yeah, I thought everything leading up to the end was cool. Dialogue was great. Some of the wide shots of the cabin were cool. Like when they tell Wendy to go up into the cabin and put on her headphones, and then the tree falls over, and the lightning and the fire and the rain. Um,
And the planes are still falling down. I mean, 'cause they show in the lower location, but you get to see it outside the woods area too. Just-
yep. And then they find the truck, so that's how you can kind of know that, man, they had some faith in them because the truck was right down the road that they all four showed up in. So I don't think any of them were planning on going back. You have anything we talked? We're just sitting here praising the movie for the past 40 minutes.
just talking about
But
negative.
but do you have anything that you did not like about the movie?
I think originally I was gonna say just how they would cut away to the flashbacks, but I feel like the flashbacks are somewhat needed to kind of fill with the for their characters. Um, I already mentioned earlier. I think Rupert Grint should have probably had a little bit more to work with. Yeah, I mean, this movie wasn't really a whole lot. Uh, yeah, not really much there.
What do you mean?
It's like maybe they could have done like a someone actually died by accident, like how Wynn dies in the book.
Yeah. To me, I agree with you. I think the flashbacks were necessarily needed. Even the flashback where his parents drove like the 7 hours and only stayed 40
Or
minutes because of again them choosing who they love and when they love and why they love. But like it kind of also makes you look at all the suffering that maybe they had led going into that cabin. So you're kind of like, man, do they sacrifice what they have to save humanity? Because in my mind, I'm like, if I have my partner there and my kid, why am I gonna? And this is just a thought. Don't nobody try to go hit cancel culture or anything like that. But this is a thought from the movie. Like, if I have everybody I love in that cabin, why am I gonna sacrifice one of them to save a world that has been mean to me my entire life?
such a villainous way of thinking there, one.
Yeah,
The villain mindset.
yeah.
No, I mean,
Because
I think everyone would probably side with that. I mean, it's the most human way of thinking. Everyone can be
because
selfish.
yeah, because I mean, the movie teases that that's what they're gonna do because the flashbacks that you have, if there's anybody else in the flashback, it's negative, But if it's a flashback with just him and Win, or if it's the two dads and Win, it's a good memory. But anybody outside their circle that's in the flashback, they go through hell, man. So a little deep thought. Um, I don't really know if we have a who's hot. Do
Oh
we?
shit. Well, I don't know about you, but I think I was like, well, it almost came close to me choosing Dave Bautista. Honestly, now, I mean, uh, see, this she fits more in the Q category. To be fair, Adrian,
Adrian. Uh,
the actress who plays her is like 28.
yeah, yeah. To save everything, we can go Adrian. Um, what about a favorite scene? You have a favorite scene in the movie?
I mean, honestly, it would even be the lead up to Batista just taking his own life. But yeah, say visually, just the way beginning of the actual film, just I just love the way that how they shot Batista or Leonard, the slow walking up to Wen, because I think she's looking down her notepad and just kind of puts it down. And you see Leonard walking.
Yeah. Um, I would have to go with some of the heavy dialogue scenes with Leonard explaining what they're watching on TV, the catching of the grasshoppers. Um, I love when he gets super violent and like angry, and then he apologizes for being that way and calms himself back down. But a favorite scene for me, honestly, that's kind of edge on your seat, even watching it 3 or 4 times later, is when Leonard's in the bathroom and he breaks the window thinking that he's out, and he comes back in anyway. That was a pretty intense scene. So, we are at that point in the show rating Danny Trejos. How many Danny Trejos does this movie get? Machetes. 1 out of 5, man. Let's go. Well, how do you
Let's
think?
go. You said just
Let's
straight up.
go.
Oh man, who's going to be
Pre-
honest?
pressure's on. You want me to go? I'll go first.
Uh,
I'm gonna give this movie a 4, man. I really, really liked it this time around. Um, it's a deep, deep film, man. If you just sit there and think about it, and I think that's what M Night does. Um, and I don't know why this movie gets so much hate and negative criticism, but I love this movie. 4 stars out of 5.
right there with you. 4. Also, when I originally watched the movie, I that's what I had my thought it was. I was like, it could be 4 or 4. I think 4.5. But I was like, risky. I think 4 was my actual rating. Every time I come out of a movie, I'm like, oh, that could be that. That could be that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys again have not seen it, it's a fun movie. Go grab it. Physical media. It's not very expensive now. I think I saw it at Walmart the other day for like $5 on DVD, $10 on Blu-ray. So go check it out. Or if you don't even want to leave your house, go right now, log in on the Peacock, and go check it out. It's streaming right there for free if you just have a subscription to Peacock. So go
Say it
check it
again.
out. You know, it's like Beetlejuice. If you say it 3 times, it shows up.
No, no, I don't want to see it.
No, I'm talking about the TV app, the Peacock.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, go check it out. I love it. Let us know what you think about it. Send us in some emails or some any kind of messages. DM, get in those messages. Instagram, Friday the 14th podcast. Social media, Swap Productions. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Or send me an email. CINEMEN921 at gmail.com. But Nick, next week was your pick, man, and I thought we were going down another M Night road.
Oh, you wanted me to go that route. I was like, that's what you want. I'm not gonna give people what they want.
I kind of did, but next week you chose The Night Eats the World. Have you seen this?
I've not seen this, so I'm still going down the route of being surprised by movies we not dived into. So, sadly, this is not a found footage movie. I know you wanted to dive into another one of those.
Oh, thank God.
I was like, I'm gonna do it, but it's like, nah, I'll give them a break for now. I'm also going to like the M Night thing. I think we should save some movies for each season.
What if there is no more seasons, Nick? What if this is just a one long thing that we're never going to stop now? Instead of seasons, we're going to have anniversaries.
Yearly, yearly episode.
Yeah, so like
Uh,
season 7 is going to last until like May.
May. It's gonna be May. Um, I don't know. We'll jump back into it. But The Night Eats the World. Just based on the title, do you know what? Do you have an idea what this movie?
I think it's a vampire movie, just by the title.
No, it's not about that, by the way. It's about good old zombies.
Oh, cool. I'm excited to see it, especially since you said it was on the Peacock. So I can watch it with no commercials.
That you want
So,
to watch on TV.
but I'm gonna watch it on the Peacock.
You said it again.
So, but yeah, any other final thoughts or comments before we head out of here and head on to a new episode?
Final
Any
thoughts.
final thoughts?
Great movie. I was gonna throw this in at the way beginning of the show, but I was gonna throw maybe do a thing of things we may have missed or things we've overlooked. Reference the Overlook Hotel, The Shining. Overlooked. 'Cause we talked about Trap last week, and the Thinker, the artist that plays the Thinker is Kid Cudi. I was like, what the hell? That's cool. Also the Josh Hartnett's wife in the movie is Kim from Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah.
It's like she looks familiar. I was like, that's why.
I did also see that Kid Cudi was in that movie, but I didn't even put two and two together.
He disappeared in that character. I mean, there's a lot of movies that Kid Cudi's been kind of coming on. It's like, oh shit. Like he came on X.
He really came in X.
um, those are a couple of things that I throw out. Also, as far as just like of what I did last weekend, unless I visited the gas station from the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
I saw that. I saw that's on your Instagram, right?
Yeah,
We can follow at the 4K Bad Guy. Go check it out. That was a pretty cool freaking screenshot picture. That should be like a background or a profile picture somehow, some
so
way.
picture my Tinder profile.
There you go.
Nah, yeah, can't believe I forgot to throw it in there last week. That's all. Oh yeah. By the way, I visited the Dr. Pepper Museum. Of it.
I like that. I like that segment though. Something we touch on right before we get out of here, and you pick like 4 things that we might have overlooked, and you talk about it.
Overlooked.
And you talk about it the week after about the previous film. That's cool. That's real thinking outside the box, Nick.
So there's like a lot of episodes where we kind of miss out on some things. Like, oh, that would have been cool to throw in the last episode.
Yeah. Nice. Well, cool, man. I think that'll do it for this conversation about Knock at the Cabin. Again, go check it out on the Peacock. Next week, don't forget another new episode of Friday the 14th podcast. We talk The Night Eats the World. It's streaming available now on Peacock, so go check it out. And Nick, until next week.
Thanks for watching. Stay ultra.